Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast, where we help you embrace the most courageous version of yourself. My name is Marie, and I'm an adventure seeker who is obsessed with following the joy and creating more freedom. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connection, join me on the quest to discovering how we can live a more magical and memorable life. Hello nerds! Welcome to episode number 12 of the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Today is the last lesson of the 10 life lessons I brought home from Thru-Hiking. So if you haven't listened to episode 10 and 11, go listen to them first so you have the whole story. Lesson number 10 is about the coming home after achieving a big dream and the transformation that follows. So at first, when I came home, I was really happy. I was reunited with my books and my sofa. I had saved enough of money to be able not to work for a few weeks. So I kind of just sat there. I read a lot. I stared at the void, wondering what my life was going to be about from now on. It's hard to chase this clear thing for years and then to suddenly wake up one morning and it's behind you. I read books about goal setting to try and find something to hold on to, but there was a void. Many people talk about post-trail depression, but the way I see it is quite different. Let me explain. The trail shows you who you can be when you have a clear purpose and a simple life. Truth be told, it opens your eyes on a new way of life, and not necessarily one in which you hike all the time, but just one in which you have clarity, simplicity, and freedom. At first, it kind of seems like a curse though, because you go back to real life and you notice that nothing has changed. You have changed, but everything else is the same. Linda at work will tell you everything about her renovations, and you will care even less than you did 6 months prior. Your friends will ask you a few questions about your quote-unquote holiday and then move on to complain about their jobs or their partners. It's as if you went away to a beach resort for 2 weeks. For a while, I felt slightly alienated and wanted to teleport back to the trail. People asked me what lessons I'd learned and how I had changed, hoping for snippets of wisdom, and I was like, I've been back for 5 days, I don't know. I tried to come up with something meaningful, but casually talking about my experience out loud felt like a betrayal of the truth. Many people asked about the animals I'd seen. I remember thinking, please ask me questions that matter. And I know that makes me sound entitled, but at the time I was just sad and I wanted someone to see it and to listen, to ask questions and to listen patiently. And some people did. One night, I told my friend Audrey about Elena Osborne's beautiful and heartbreaking video about the PCT that's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, by the way, go watch it. It's called It Is the People. My friend pulled out her laptop so I could show her the video. We watched the 10-minute film together and I cried in my glass of wine. Audrey was like, wow, I understand now. She had tears in her eyes as well. And in that moment, I really felt seen. But those moments were rare. Most people would tell me things like, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I'm sure everyone always asking about the PCT. But no, they were not. It's a really strange transition back into real life. And I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was definitely grieving. About 2 or 3 weeks after I came home, I found the courage to wash my backpack. I sat on the floor beside the bath and sadness overcame me as the dirt washed away. The trail was all I thought about wherever I went, if I went anywhere. Most of the time I would lie on the sofa, close my eyes and see the colors of small flowers changing at sunset. I was desperate for Anna's presence next to me. I wrote letters to her. I Googled the way to Wisconsin. I thought there was nothing left except memories and WhatsApp chats, and I wondered what would happen once the chats died down and the memories faded. I realized that what was left is the deep knowledge of what it feels like to be free, to put yourself first, The knowledge that you don't have to live with constant headaches and stomach burns. Now you know that there is a version of you who feels light, healthy, and strong. So now that you know that, why wouldn't you want to do everything it takes to make sure this version of you is there with you full time? Some people will say, but we can't be hiking all the time. And yes, that's probably right. But perhaps hiking is not the only way to feel this way. What if a more aligned life was the solution? What if you engineered your life so that you could wake up in the morning and feel excited about your day the way you did on the trail? This sounds cheesy, I know, but what if the reason we are exhausted is because we've been fighting against our deepest truth every day? It's like trying to fit a circle into a square hole. We can make it work if we push really hard, but wouldn't it just be easier if there was no resistance? If we found a round hole to fit the circle in, or created it if it didn't exist? To me, the resistance that we feel when we come back to the real world after 6 months of hiking is a rebellion from the heart. Our brain knows how to get back to work and fall into our old comfortable patterns, but our heart has been free for a while, and it's like, no way you're putting me back into the closet. I remember people telling me, yeah, well, it's always hard to come back from a holiday, with like an underlying tone of stop being a spoiled brat and get back to work like other responsible adults do. But what if the reason that coming back from vacation is so hard is because we get to be the most relaxed and joyful version of ourselves for a period of time and then have to go back to our worried, exhausted self? I mean, why would anyone want that? I refuse to accept that this is how it has to be. And I know I told you about this in, I think it was episode 2. Shouldn't we all want to be the best version of ourselves full time? So after a month of slugging around inside my home, I announced my return from the trail to my professional network. Work started coming in again. I set ambitious financial goals for 2020 and I reached the amount of the first quarter within 2 months. Another big goal for 2020 was writing a book, but I was running out of time. I was getting back into my old groove, the kind of freelance life where there is no time left for dreams. Free, but not so free. How was I going to earn a living and achieve the projects I had dreamed up while I was on the trail? I couldn't bear the idea of letting them go. I couldn't bear letting the brain win over the heart again. And then COVID happened. And while it destroyed an incalculable number of lives, I think it also saved more people than we like to think. A friend of mine told me that her dad had time off for the first time in 10 years. While many people struggled and even died, it also ironically gave some people the room to breathe and to rest and to sit with themselves. Nothing is ever all bad or all good. Anyway, in Canada, we were really lucky to have a generous emergency response benefit to keep us afloat. And I use this unique time as a springboard into the projects I'd been putting aside. I chose to write every day. Not only that, I started dreaming up a life that would allow me to feel the lightheartedness and freedom from the trail. I turned nostalgia into possibility. And instead of thinking I missed the trail, I asked myself this question. What do I miss about the trail? I miss the close connections with my friends. I miss seeing progress at the end of every day. I miss not having anything to worry about. While you cannot recreate these exact circumstances, you can recreate the feelings. So how do I want to feel daily? Well, I want to feel connected. I want to feel proud. I want to feel free and lighthearted and calm. How can I create a life where this is my reality? Well, I can set goals and work towards them daily. I can build a business that allows me to have a flexible lifestyle. I can focus on moments of deep connection. I can help my friends take care of their kids, develop a special relationship with them. And these are just a few examples. Many people on social media talk about how much Thru-Hiking has changed them. They say things like, I'm a completely different person. Often the change is proclaimed but not necessarily explained, which makes it sound almost too easy, too romantic, black and white. Yourself before a through hike, yourself after. But I don't think it's as clear-cut as this. Nothing ever is. You will come back with the same old brain that's been conditioned from day one. And if you want to change aspects of your life, you will need to keep embracing discomfort every day. The difference is that you will know in your bones that you can do hard things. Your through hike will become a go-to metaphor for the rest of your life. To my peers, I look exactly the same. My athletic through hiking body sure has gone back to its original shape, but I work from home, I wear bright colors, I love talking about podcasts, I'm the same. Or so I thought. But the trail has lit up a small flame in me, and that flame is growing. Plus, spending all this time alone makes it so I don't need anybody anymore. You want to walk along with me on the path of life? You better be good company, because I can walk that damn path on my own. That makes it way easier to set boundaries. I'm not dependent on anything or anyone because I learned to fulfill my own needs. The changes are subtle to the outsider, but they're subverting to me. It's the inner fall of the empire. I am in the process of overthrowing all of my limitations, one after the other. I'm bringing down the not enoughs. Not good enough with words to be an author or to have a podcast? Screw it, I'll be writing every day until I am. Not confident enough to become a coach? Watch me become the best coach I can be. Not smart enough with finances to be a business owner? Pfft, I can figure it out, I'm sure. Now that I have experienced a life of freedom, my standards have changed. Now that I have accomplished what I thought was impossible for a dorky kid like me, the possibilities are endless. And whenever I walk through a storm now, be it figurative or literal, I know that it will pass. I know that it will be easier if I can surround myself with people like Over Easy and Anna, who will make me laugh even when we're waist deep into trouble. I know that Sugar Rush will come around the corner to give us hope. I know that we'll go down in elevation eventually. I know that I'm not alone, that there are a whole bunch of kindred spirits behind me and ahead of me too, going in the same direction, willing to take care of me if I fall. I know that the snow will melt and the hearts will warm, and that we will sit together on the wet ground to laugh about how hard it all was to reach our dreams. But that's okay, because we know we can do hard things. So that's it, nerds. Those are my 10 lessons from Thru-Hiking. I hope you enjoyed them. I'm not sure how I'd summarize the last one. Maybe something like Marie screaming at podcast listeners that they can be whoever they want to be. That sounds about right. I want to leave you with a quote that resonated deeply with me when I read it. It's from Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed, and here it goes. When that kind of transformation happens, it becomes impossible to fit into your old conversations, relationships, pattern, thoughts, or life anymore. You look around you and see everything freshly, with the new eyes you have earned for yourself. Okay, if you want help getting out of your shell and crafting a path that you're proud of, get in touch with me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds about the program I mentioned last week. It's called Brave and Bold, and it's an amazing 6-month coaching journey for those of you who want to overcome their fears, work on their confidence, and gain more freedom in their lives. I'll be next to you the whole time to keep you accountable and make sure you don't just talk about how you want to change, but you actually take small actions in the direction of a more meaningful life. The program starts in May, and if you can invest between 5 and 10 hours per month on the work we'll do together, you will see incredible shifts in how you show up in your life. If this sounds like something you need, then message me as soon as you listen to this so you can get access to early bird pricing that's available for people on my email list until the public launch on April 15th. So, alright, enough for today. I love you and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye! You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I hope you enjoyed. We publish an episode every Monday, so make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified. I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for doing the inner work necessary to grow into your truest self and make the world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.